Thank you very much. You'll be hearing a lot more about reach, frequency, and attribution in the panel at the end. But now we have Hayley Cochran, VP of Digital and Advanced Ad Sales Global at NBCU, interviewed by the ever-able John Moulding, Editor-in-Chief at VideoNet.
Thank you, Colin. Okay, and as Colin said, it's Hayley Cochran. She's Vice President, Digital and Advanced Sales, Ad Sales and Global at NBC Universal. And the global is a key part because what we're talking about now is NBC Universal's journey towards becoming more global and also more digital, which is a natural consequence, I guess. So, I mean, obviously TV, the globalization, is a mega trend. So just talk us through your international reach at NBC Universal and your sort of consumer touch points.
Perfect. Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me here. I'm really excited to tell you guys all about our journey. But I'm sure many of you already know and appreciate that NBC Universal is a dominant player in the US ad sales market. Whether it's our TV and whether it's our news or entertainment television networks, our theme parks and multiple film studios, our streaming service Peacock, we amass a huge audience every single day, which is incredibly powerful when you look at it through a marketing lens. So in 2020, we rolled out a new division called NBC Universal Global, and it does what it says on the tin, and that we are hyper-focused on bringing global opportunities to our clients who want to reach our audiences all over the world. Now, whilst our brand equity is incredibly strong in the US, our audiences actually live far beyond US borders. NBC Universal has been a little bit of a sleeping giant in the international marketplace until now, in that our audiences extend over 150 countries around the world, and we reach close to 1 billion consumers every single month, which is incredibly powerful. And we also invest $26 billion in content every single year. So that makes us the biggest content creator across the globe. So ultimately, what we're trying to do is give our marketers and advertisers access to all of that content, reach all of those audiences across all of the different touch points through one door, one access point. But we're not going at this whole journey alone. Our number one mission is to be the number one choice for marketers globally. So central to our global growth strategy is partnerships, because we believe partnerships and collaboration is going to shape the future. So to put that in context for you, in 2018, our parent company, Comcast, acquired Sky. And so we work hand in hand with Sky to unlock the power of Sky to all of our clients around the rest of the world. In January this year, we announced an incredibly exciting partnership with RTL Ad Connect, which means that it's expanded our portfolio across Europe and the Nordics, and we can also now go and offer our marketers and our clients in the US and China a far wider portfolio. And then in February, we announced another exciting partnership, one I'm particularly passionate about, and that's our partnership with in-game advertising platform Anzu, where we'll be the exclusive third-party reseller here in the UK and the US, so we can connect marketers to gamers all around the world. And then when you think about distribution and our digital partnerships, we are one of the biggest media creators on YouTube. Last year we delivered 74 billion video views, of which 70% of those are outside of the US. We have an amazing partnership with Twitter. Twitter is such an awesome partner, and we work really closely together with them on, connecting marketers to our content on their platform and giving them, ad experiences where they can tap into sports highlights or red carpet live streams. But partnerships and advertising is an essential asset within our wider corporate function, on par with content and distribution, because it means that we can scale our advertising strategies and offer our marketers broader opportunities. So it also means that we can connect all the pieces within NBC Universal. So unify, simplify, and amplify everything that we do for our consumers and our marketers. If you've got the right partnership, it's awesome because it means you can build stuff. You can build trust. You can build new products and experiences, new connections with consumers, new communities around content that really shapes culture. And this year is going to be such a transformative year for us because we have worked so hard to redefine our brand from being this legacy TV organization to a powerhouse technology business that is going to help marketers build their brands globally.
I mean, out of all the touch points that you mentioned, I mean, obviously we know about Peacock and Sky Showtime's coming. Twitter, that's again, you know, people can advertise against your content, and the same with YouTube. I mean, RTL Ad Connect stands out because presumably that's not against NBC Universal content necessarily. They're just a trusted partner with other high quality content, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And the gaming you mentioned, is this the first time that you've started to sell in gaming ads?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And is that just because you've got such a good connection with these brands and you've got good data? I mean, is that why they're using you for that? I mean, how does a TV company come to sell gaming ads?
Because, like I mentioned earlier, you know, partnerships is so important for us. And if we want to, you know, really be able to connect marketers to environments where everyone's spending their time, you got to kind of look beyond your organization and start looking at other environments. So whether it's gaming is accelerated. So we're, as a business, we're like, we want to, you know, be a part of that. And be able to offer our marketers these connected solutions across all of these different touch points. So yeah, we're really excited about partnering with Anzu.
Okay. Is it fair to say that streaming makes it easier to build international reach and give brands international reach through a single buy?
Well, when I think about reach, it's audience, right? And for us at NBC Universal, you know, we want to be everywhere our audiences are, so wherever consumers are spending their time. And so, I mean, it's absolutely essential in order for us to be able to distribute our content, reach our audiences wherever they're spending their time. But at the same time, you know, we're a consumer-first business. So we've rallied our whole business around a one-platform business strategy because it's, you know, thinking about consumers first and foremost and how, and, you know, changing media consumption habits. So as a natural next step in that whole kind of transformation, we set out to redefine AVOD. And that's why we brought Peacock to the marketplace, which has really been exciting because we've obviously fully embraced the whole consumer shift to digital, but at the same time, we've fundamentally transformed AVOD within the industry. And as I alluded to earlier, you know, we've brought our partnerships on board to collaborate to create this pristine consumer experience, which is obviously what consumers want, what they expect, whilst innovating and, you know, investing in technology and in content and in creative quality controls, and which has ultimately led us to, you know, Peacock to be one of the fastest growing streamers in market. And we're really excited about, you know, what that next stage of growth looks like. But ultimately, we want to make sure that in an environment where every single dollar counts, you know, we want to generate ROI for our clients wherever they are, whether that's London, New York, Sydney, Dubai. And that means that, you know, we need scalable solutions in those markets. So streaming and Peacock is one of our biggest bets.
Okay, and what is the demand for a global media campaign? I mean, why doesn't a brand just go to each country, the big national broadcasters, all the streamers in those countries, buy them on a territory by territory basis? Why would, say, a large US brand come to you to allow, you know, to do the whole global for them?
Cool. You know, when you look at the whole industry overall in a holistic perspective, there's like no denying the fact that marketers genuinely are, there's an appetite for global opportunities because, and we've experienced that firsthand. So just in the last 2 years since we've actually launched our global division, we've had to double our team in the last 24 months, and that's largely, you know, up to 100 now because that's to meet demand. But when you think about it, it actually makes sense because, you know, macroeconomic conditions have had a huge impact on our industry. You know, you've had the pandemic, you've got Ukraine war, you know, rapidly rising inflation rates, you've got increasingly fragmented, you know, media landscape, you've got an increase in, it's all more complexity, more speed, and that puts a huge amount of pressure on marketers. So global marketers today, they're looking to maximize value out of their media budgets, and they're looking to global partners and their agencies to create greater consistency, you know, greater accountability. They want greater consumer engagement, you know, creativity, innovation. And the more we hone into what's important to them, I mean, they want efficiencies at scale. Marketing solutions aligned to how people consume media today. They want to connect data with technology. They want to influence those consumers at every single stage of the purchase journey because they want ROI, right? So they want to connect branding with performance and find that perfect balance between sales for today and brand for tomorrow. And they want that all with fewer partners and deeper relationships. So when creating these global media and marketing comm strategies, you can create this framework of best practice for global activations, local activations, and then almost define a role for all the other media channels. And by working with a global media partner, we can help them create this almost a strong foundation of brand foundation through scaled reach, consistency across all of the different markets, additional content, which ultimately complements their paid for media assets, so it gives consumers another reason to engage. But it's all about making it easy for them to activate. So unifying digital strategy, for example, reporting, analytics, data technology, because that ultimately gives them more flexibility to optimize campaigns across different channels, across different countries, where optimize their budgets accordingly. But you also can't lose sight of the importance of local market activation, because local CMOs, they know their audiences in a local market and then local market dynamics better than anyone else. So it's important to be able to work with partners that can offer you that global to local approach. So when from an NBC Universal perspective with our one platform proposition, we have a single entry system to 1 billion consumers across premium content that audiences love and trust, and it's all built on a foundation of trust, transparency, collaboration, partnership, which means that marketers can execute campaigns effectively across screens, across different borders, everywhere. So that's one platform.
Okay, and we'll talk about one platform a bit more in a minute.
Perfect.
But who are you competing with for the ad dollars? So are you just competing against the global tech giants? Is it now also the studios with their direct to consumer, so Disney Plus if they had ads, and or is it national sales houses? Who are the biggest people who are going for this money?
If I'm honest, I'd probably say it's both, but when you really kind of think about the scale that we can deliver, it's probably more the tech platforms, because the one thing that they don't necessarily have that we have, though, is our crown jewels, which is content. Content is ultimately the best extension of everything that's great about NBC Universal. Whether it's the Olympics, the Super Bowl, the Premier League, our live red carpet events, so the Grammys, the Oscars, Met Gala, scripted versus unscripted. When you actually connect marketers to those highly engaged audience in those brand safe, trusted environments, that's where magic happens. So yeah, I'd probably say more the tech platforms.
Okay, and one platform, you've mentioned that a few times. This is your unified planning, buy-in, campaign management solution for multi-platform. It's very pioneering, and you sort of almost led the way, and you're also sort of helping to lead the rest of the industry to some extent. Like your C-Flight kind of span out of that. Just talk us through that in a bit more detail. So the purpose of it, the key features, sort of biggest benefits to buyers.
I love talking about one platform though. So if anyone walks away with one thing, it's going to be one platform. But I just want to start with the fact there's an overarching factor that we as an industry have to address, and that's that we have to move beyond just thinking of age and gender when thinking about and planning our campaigns, because audiences are so much more than those two identifiers. They are real people with likes, passions, fears, dislikes. They've got interests. They've got different cultural backgrounds. And that's all the insights and the information and signal really that we should be focusing on in order for us to accurately measure and execute campaigns effectively for our clients. So we've got to lean into first-party data and the efficiencies that it brings both buyers and sellers to better connect with consumers. Because at the end of the day, it's those consumers that are going to create the future of entertainment, right? Because we've got more choice now than ever before. We can choose how, when, and where to consume content. We want what we want, when we want it, on whatever device we want it from. So, it's important that we think of consumers first and foremost. So that's exactly why we created or launched our one platform business unit, was with consumers in mind, and also changing consumer behaviors and viewing trends, because ultimately we want to deliver the best possible viewing experience and greater impact for our clients. So one platform is hyper-focused on audiences, and being able to unify linear and digital planning and buying means that we can better deliver meaningful audiences to our clients, whatever platform, whatever channel, whatever IP. And you know, we've significantly scaled all of our AdSmart capabilities, so that's our advanced solutions within one platform, which means now audiences that can actually go and, well, marketers can go and target their desired consumer, aligned to whatever their objectives are, but across screens, across international borders, to generate greater impact. And then we also, you know, enhancing our, really investing in technology so they can make data-informed decisions, which also ultimately leads to a better consumer experience for our marketers, but and for our consumers. But ultimately, you know, when you think about all of our audience, so it's 1 billion consumers across the globe, having that type of scale, you know, it's a diverse audience, diverse portfolio. We know so much about what works, what doesn't work, what content resonates, and how to build those lasting relationships, because we see billions of consumer interactions every single day. So we're in a very good position to be able to use all of that insight, those relationships, to translate into a better consumer experience and connect marketers in a more deep, insight-led way. So to sum it all up, one platform, the purpose of it was because there's so much media fragmentation, we want to make it easy for clients to activate against all of our different touch points, because obviously distribution is key. And we want to just, you know, give them the ability to tap into the whole ecosystem that's NBC Universal through one door.
And if we follow that sort of audience buy-in paradigm to its conclusion, presumably people won't come to you and ask to be on a particular network or day part, or they say, we want to be against this show. They just tell you who they want and you deal with it.
Yeah.
And they accept that, okay? Is that sort of...
Not always, no,
Yeah.
They don't always accept that, but it's definitely the way we're trying to educate the market and move the industry in that way.
Okay, and you mentioned you mentioned first-party data. I mean, that leads to NBC Unified, which I believe is your first-party data kind of tool. I mean, just tell us about that very quickly.
I love this topic, by the way. NBC Unified is NBC Universal's first-party identity platform. So that's where we unify all of our consumer touchpoints across the whole ecosystem that's NBC Universal. And I think theme parks, film studios, news, entertainment, sports, subscriptions, e-com, we're unifying all of that into a single user's identity and profile, which is deterministic, it's privacy compliant, and it sits within the one platform, you know, within our one platform. It also solidifies our whole data and identity strategy, really. But having that people-based approach, so knowing so much about our consumers, who are they, what are they up to, how do they operate across platforms, what content and messaging resonates with them and why, what products they're buying, that means that we can have a far more measured, targeted, and personalized approach. And marketers can have a far, you know, deliver far greater impact across their campaigns. It also happens to, NBC Unified is also the backbone of NBC Universal's measurement initiative, in that the platform provides us with privacy compliant, blinded data, household identity and data spine, which underpins you know, all the measurement standards that we're developing. And obviously identity is so crucial for better efficiencies, you know, better measurements, better reach and frequency planning. There's a gabillion benefits about why it's so important. But that's in a very quick whistle-stop tour. Ultimately, we want to give marketers the ability to think beyond age and gender and connect with consumers like real people.
Okay, well, we've just got 1 minute left. So just tell us about measurement. You know, what are the next steps? Because you have worked very hard to sort of improve comparability across platforms and have some kind of unified measurement, C-Flight being the classic example. I mean, what comes next now? What's on the roadmap?
So we actually, you know, as I alluded to, we live in a new world where media consumption habits are changing rapidly, and the whole industry has been so reliant on this archaic model, which doesn't reflect consumer behavior in any way, shape, or form. So we actually, in the summer last year, we decided we want measurement independence. And we went and challenged the whole industry to start looking at alternative currencies to think about how the consumers reflect the ecosystem that is today. So we sent an RFP out to about 54 providers. 100 came back. People that came back with was Comscore, Nielsen, iSpot.tv, Video Amp, and the whole goal for us was ultimately to create this stack of different measurement solutions that reflect consumer behavior. So, and we've been sharing all of that information with the industry. We want to be completely transparent, but we announced our first certified partner in January this year. It was with iSpot.tv, and we've been testing with them. We started testing across the Olympics, Winter Olympics and the Super Bowl, so two of the biggest events. And I'm going to stop now because it says 0.
Oh, well, if all our speakers did that, we'd have a really easy job. Anyway, that was amazing. We did cover a lot of ground.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Hayley.
you for having me.
Thank you,
everyone.